So watch this. I just built an AI agent in 8 minutes with no coding skills, and by the end of this video, you will have one too. So this thing pulls live weather data, creates a summary, completely automated, and sends it to my email box. So here's the weather data every morning in my inbox. So here's the problem. Everyone is talking about AI agents, but nobody is showing you how to actually build one without being a programmer until now. So let's start the timing and let's build this AI agent. So we're going to build this AI agent in n8n, which is basically an AI agent automation builder. Pretty easy to use. I'm going to show you right now. So an AI agent normally has 3 phases. The first one is the trigger, which is basically the beginning of every agent. When do you want the agent to be started? Can be every morning, can be every evening, even can do it manually. And then when it's triggered, then you need an action, which is the middle of the AI agent. What is the task of this AI agent? And at the end, you have the output. So what is the end of an AI agent and where do you want to send certain information, for example? So we're going to build a AI agent that summarizes the weather and sends you an email every morning with a weather update. So the first thing we need is a trigger based on a schedule. So you have different triggers. You can check them out. It's pretty easy. But the one that I use the most is a trigger based on a schedule. And what I'm going to say to this trigger is, all right, every day at 9 a.m., I want this automation, I want this AI agent to start and fetch the information I need. All right, now we have our trigger. And what we're going to do next is, all right, we need to somehow pull in live weather data. I googled around and I came to this website, theweatherapi.com. It's basically a service that can give you all the weather information you need. What we need here is an account. So we're going to make an account and then you will get an API key, which is this key over here. This is basically your access token to ask Weather API to get the right information. All right, but how are we going to fetch that information? We need to connect with the API. And what we're going to do is we're going to use an HTTP request. This is a pretty technical, but I'm going to show you how you can do this with ChatGPT. So within the HTTP request, we need some information to connect with Weather API and make sure that we get the right information. What I'm going to do, I'm going to find the documentation of the API. I'm going to Google Weather API docs, and here you will find all the documentation of the Weather API. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to ChatGPT. I'm going to ask ChatGPT. I'm building a n8n AI agent that fetches the weather every morning and gives me a weather update. I'm going to use Weather API for this. Here you can find documentation. And this is important. Please make me a CURL for getting the data, live data for this day. So now it's going to check the documentation. So I ask it to build a CURL. I'm going to copy this code and we're going back to n8n. I'm going to click on import CURL and paste the information here. So what it will do, it will basically implement all the information already done for me. And here you can add your API key. So I'm going back to my dashboard and I will say, all right, copy this, add it over here, and I'm going to do execute step. And here you see that it fetches all the information necessary for Amsterdam because I want to make sure that's in my location where I am. The only thing is that I don't see any forecast here. So I'm going back to ChatGPT and say, give me the CURL for a 1-day forecast. So I'm going to make the CURL again. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to delete this HTTP request because it's not the right one. I'm going to add a new HTTP request. Click on import CURL. And here is the information. And you see that it's added days 1. So for 1 day, for this day, for example. I'm going to fetch my API key again. I'm going to say, all right, this is my API key. And now you will see that a forecast data is added to the output of this agent. What do we have right now? We have a trigger. Then it will fetch all the information from the HTTP request and all the information we need over here at this side. Right now, we want an AI agent to summarize that information. So, what do we need? An AI agent node, and a node is just one step in an AI agent. What do we need? If we double click on it, normally it is set on chat trigger node, but we want to set it on define below. And what we will say is, here is the weather data. So we basically want to give it all the information necessary to make the summary. So see what I did? I grabbed the object and I'm pushing it into the prompt. The user message is basically what information does the agent needs. And if we do add option and system message, this is basically the task we are going to give to the agent. So one thing I see immediately is that it's not fetching the right data. It's basically saying, all right, this is an object and objects cannot be used within an AI agent. We need a string. Because if we do execute step, one problem, we need to add a chat model. So we click on the plus sign and we say, all right, which LLM are we going to use in this AI agent? For this, I'm going to use ChatGPT. So I added my API code of OpenAI over here and say, all right, let's use GPT 4.0 mini. I'm going to click the play sign and see what's happening. It looks like the weather data didn't come through. And that's true because I don't see the weather data over here. I see an object. What do we need to do? We need to change this data from an object to a string so that an AI agent can work with that data. So let's go back to ChatGPT. So we have a new chat over here. I'm going to say, I'm building an AI agent in n8n. Please write me a JavaScript code I can use that turns an object to a string so I can use it in my AI agent node. So now it's going to build a JavaScript snippet over here. So I'm going to copy this code, go to n8n, click on the plus sign, say, all right, I want to add code in JavaScript. I'm going to enter the code over here, execute step, let's see what's happening. And now you see it will add everything into a string. So what I now can do is I say, all right, again, here's the weather data. And now you see it will basically have all the data necessary to make the summary. So normally I would create a new prompt for the system message, but I'm going to do that in ChatGPT. It's way easier. So I'm going to say, I'm building an AI agent in n8n that summarizes weather data and sends it to my Gmail. Please write me a prompt that will make the summary. And let's see what's happening over here. All right, now it made the prompt. So we're going to only use this because it already has the data. I'm going to add it here. And now we're going to do execute step. Let's see what it's outputting. And here you see that it outputs the Amsterdam weather for 20th of October, current conditions. So it basically summarized the full weather. So that's good. So now we have a trigger, we get the data, we change the data and we tell to an AI agent, hey, make a summary. Now we want to output it to Gmail. So I'm going to add a Gmail node and I'm going to say, all right, let's send a message. You need to add your n8n credentials or your Gmail credentials over here. Put your research on message, operational send. We're going to say, all right, please send them to my test email over here. Subject line is, here is today's weather update. The email type need to be on text, otherwise all the enters over here, it will not recognize it. And then we're going to get the output and put it here into the message field. Let's see if I execute step. Here it is. Here's your weather update. Here it is, Amsterdam weather, current conditions, today's forecast, hourly highlights. Pretty good. So right now we build us a full AI agent. So let's trigger it once more. To fetch the data, turns the data around, goes to an AI agent to summarize everything, and then it will send me an email. Again, here's the weather update. You can, of course, change the prompt how you like. And this is how you build your first AI agent. If you activate it, it will now, every morning at 9 o'clock, send me a summary of the weather. If you want this AI agent, please comment below and I will send it to you. You can download it for free and import it over here into your n8n instance. Thank you very much for watching.